So this is my 330 Ci. This is the car I take drifting. Just doing a little walk around video. So pretty much standard wheel size. 18mm spacers up front. VAC Motorsports. You probably can't see them. Nitto NT555 G2s up front. I ran these on the rear for an event and wore them out. I might have done 2 days on them, then I put them up front. And I've been running them all year like that on the wear bars. They seem to be fine. Good enough for me. Kind of stock body, front bumper zip tied on. Sick Condor Speed Shop tow hooks, soft straps so you don't bash your shins on them. My grills were falling out like years ago, so I just took them out and never cared to get new ones. A couple rust spots on the hood, put some stickers over them. Paint isn't perfect, which is a shame. But so Nitto NT555 G2s on the back. This car is stock engine, so these tires will last me 2 days usually. Like they're on the wear bars, but so the Nitto NT555s are pretty good, and I also use Valino Grivas 360 tread wears, and they hold up just as well, maybe better. Like running 38 to 40 some PSI, they feel real consistent. Car obviously has a welded diff. It's not an LSD, it's welded. It's a 338. So Condor Speed Shop engine mounts and trans mounts. M52 or S52 exhaust manifolds. And a spec E46 exhaust from Beamer World. Sounds sick. Hard Motorsports air injection block off. It's just on H&R springs, sport springs, and Coney oranges. They're not adjustable. Actually got them used. They're pretty beat, but it's better than factory ride height because couldn't afford coilovers this year. So for a little extra camber, I'm running these Turner Motorsports fixed camber plates. I haven't measured it. It's probably like 3, maybe 3.5 degrees. I'm not really sure. Of negative camber. I've also got Condor offset control arm bushings for a little extra caster. The wheels aren't turned straight, but you can kind of see maybe the wheels sit a little further in the wheel wells. I haven't had any rubbing issues with or without the spacers on the fenders, at least. I was having rubbing issues on the frame on the chassis, so that's why I got the wheel spacers. Chase bays, baffled power steering reservoir. These Condor Speed Shop like sock thingies, they help keep the fluid, like the fluid splash out of there a little bit, maybe past the seal. It also has the power steering cooler that mounts on the rack. Probably not the gnarliest cooler, but hopefully it helps a little. Yeah, just refresh the cooling system, like new hoses, factory thermostat. It has a Stewart high flow water pump, and the mechanical fan, clutch fan. I did have an electric fan, but I didn't have time to get it like wired up and mounted up before I wanted to go drive, so I just put the mechanical clutch fan back on and it's been good. Some bitch racing, some bitch handbrake extension. The thing works great. Factory parking brake shoes that I've had on this car since I bought it like 4 years ago, and it wasn't automatic. I had to manual swap it, so that was fun. Gutted airbags, gutted interior, so it sits a little high in the rear, probably because I don't have the back seats in it. The stance kind of sucks, honestly, but fix that when I get coilovers. Another toe strap. There's the Beamer World muffler, and probably you might be able to see, but like there's two sections. Like there's a resonator section further up that connects to like the downpipes from the manifolds, and they're all V-band clamps, so you know, maintenance, if you have to drop the exhaust, it's super easy. Everything should be V-band clamped. Stock rear sway bar. Here's the Coney oranges, like stock arms. Condor solid subframe bushings. I didn't reinforce the chassis because I can't weld, and I didn't have time to have somebody come out and do it or pay somebody, so that's on the to-do list. But fingers crossed I'm not destroying the body on this car. I don't really clutch kick it too much because I don't want to, I don't want to beat the shit out of it, like burn the clutch up just clutch kicking it. I'm not at the level where, you know, I'm that precise with my driving. I don't know. It's just, maybe it's just me being too cautious. I don't know. So it has a lightweight flywheel, UUC. I don't know exactly how much it weighs, but it's pretty light. And it has their uses an E46 M5 clutch disc and pressure plate, so I opted for the factory BMW like organic clutch and pressure plate. So it's like a stock E46 M5 clutch, pressure plate with the UUC lightweight flywheel. So I started drifting this thing in April. I've probably done 7 or 8 drift days now, and it seems to be holding up pretty good. I haven't felt it slip. I should have probably went with like a Clutch Masters FX 250 or 350, but I don't know. I really kind of wanted to see what that E34 clutch could take without going too crazy right off the bat, so maybe as my driving progresses, I'll upgrade the clutch to a Clutch Masters clutch and flywheel. So yeah, it's a pretty basic setup, which was kind of my goal. I just wanted as much seat time as possible. I've had this car for 4 years. I manual swapped it this year to go drifting. It wasn't too painful. I did it on jack stands. Took me about a month, you know, a little bit at a time, a couple nights a week. Overall, it's a pretty fun car. I don't know how much horsepower it has. It's not tuned. It's just factory, like just as it was. The 2 air fuel sensors fit into these manifolds. Like I didn't have to extend the wires or anything. I just kind of tucked them along the rear of the engine, and like zip tied up the secondary, like the post cat sensors. They're out of the way, and just ran it. It hasn't given me any issues. So it's just a factory, off the shelf, as it was, no tune. So I don't know how much horsepower it has. It feels like maybe around 200, but I don't know. Stickers. So go to Drift Evergreen. Sinister usually hosts those events, the Sinister Drift Team and Ready Set Drift up at Pocono Raceway, usually hosted by Hayes or the Car Shop Karoshi guys. Yeah, and shirts tucked in, like cup holder thingy for my fancy water, the sparkling water. Can't get enough of it. Hydrate. Stock seats. That's also an issue. Like they hold me enough, but for sure I get thrown around. Like I want to do a half cage and some seats and harnesses so I can at least you know, kind of sort of street drive the car without worrying about dying, because there's no airbags and I don't want to smash my head on a roll cage street driving a car, so I want to half cage it and put some good seats and harnesses in it, and maybe delete that, put a panel there. So the clutch does rattle some, but I don't really care. It's just a track car. It's a sprung disc, and they say it's not supposed to rattle, but it rattles. But who cares? And this thing burns oil too. Like every event, I feel like I'm adding almost a quart of oil. Even when I street drive it, like it doesn't leak oil. I fixed the oil pan leak, the rear main seal, it's not leaking oil. These things are notorious for burning oil. I don't know if it has something to do with the crankcase ventilation system, which I've heard is part of it, or if it's maybe like leaking, I don't know, like valve fins in the cylinder head or something in mechanical. It's probably a combination of both. Just having 150,000 miles on it, and probably the original crankcase ventilation system. I never replaced it, and I got it with 99,000 miles on it. So, I mean, there's that. And they're notorious for the oil pump backing off, so I mean, I'm not running this thing wide open all the time, but that'll be something else that I want to address, like get an upgraded oil pump that definitely cannot fail. Like, there's that. I run redline fluids, like redline engine oil, power steering fluid, BMW coolant, redline trans oil, gear oil. So I'm trying to help it as much as I can just to keep it, like, just give it as much of a chance of surviving as I can. So yeah, nice and basic, just what I like, at least for my first year of drifting. Naturally aspirated, just I drive it to and from the track, which is probably not ideal, but I don't have a choice right now. And yeah, just send it, kinda send it. Pretty cautious because I like driving and I like seat time, so I'm not trying to bend my stuff up. I don't want to turn this into a missile car. I've had this car for 4, almost 5 years, and I don't know. See a lot of guys doing missile car stuff, like crazy tandem trains, and I totally understand why they do it, but I don't want this car to be that. I like it too much. It's got a lot of sentimental value, so yeah. Wheel studs. Those are Turner Motorsports 90mm, I believe. Like the longest ones I could find. At least, I don't know, maybe there's longer ones out there, but I think they say they can take up to a 20mm spacer. So I probably should have got a 20 instead of an 18mm spacer for the front. Whatever. Yeah. So that's kind of the walk around of my my seat time car, 330 Ci, my janky stock steering wheel with the airbag removed, which looks ridiculous, I'm sure. So overall, I love this car. It's super fun. It's pretty easy to drive. I've learned a lot driving it. E46 chassis isn't really too hard to work on. Yeah. This door's open so far. Look at that. It's like 5 feet, 4 feet. It needs all that. So anyway, thanks for watching. This is my drift car, street car, fun car, project car, art car, whatever you want to call it.